Hey witches, it's Faith Fiend, and today we are talking about why you haven't shifted. We have four piles today. Tried to keep it in theme with the purple. I'm also gonna upload a video that's just kind of like me rambling about why I think some people haven't shifted. If you're interested in that, keep an eye out. It's not to attack anyone, it's just my opinion. I don't think anything has to be a hot take, but anyway, I'll let you guys pick, and then I will see you at your reading. Hello to those of you that selected pile number one, the Kuromi Tarot. This is your reading. Hmm. Okay. So there's a lot of things happening with the world. I kind of think of like maybe you're in the process of completing other things in your life. Um, I know there's a lot of people that use, or try to use shifting as escapism. I don't think that's the case with you. You seem to be very satisfied in your CR. I do see lying. So I don't know if you're lying to yourself. Some of you might be lying to others about shifting or having shifted. The hmm, it's more of like a self-deception I'm getting though. Like I don't know, like I know sometimes that's what people encourage you to do. They're like, "Oh, like pretend you're in your DR." If that's a method you're taking on where you're like trying to gaslight yourself into thinking you're shifting, I just don't think that's helpful for you. So if that is something you're implementing, like drop it. Yeah, just a lot of energy of like not being truthful or not being in alignment. So this may also be a matter of like you're so much in alignment in your CR right now that you're not even like okay, so let's say you're having a very successful um time here in your CR, and that's what you're in alignment with, and that's what your spirit is in alignment with, and then you go, your DR, you're like, some people script trauma, you know what I mean? Like, so if you scripted trauma where you're like, oh, I lost both my parents and I saw something traumatic and blah, 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 and it's like, you're not in alignment with this fucked up DR, you know what I mean? Um, I I wouldn't say it's in the reverse because I mean, the World and the Queen of Pentacles are really good signs. So I think you're doing good in your CR. I just feel like maybe your DR self is not doing well, and so you can't align yourself to that energy. So maybe try a DR where it's not as traumatic or it's not as something that's a little bit closer to your CR. And stop gaslighting yourself if that's what you're doing. Yeah, I don't think that's helpful when people are like, but to some people it is, I'm not going to say that it's not. But if that's something that you've been trying, where you like, you drink a cup of coffee and you're pretending it's a cup of coffee in your DR, I just don't think that's helpful for you at all. We also have the Knight of Wands sideways, so that's a little bit of impulsivity. You have the King of Wands, so I feel like you do have a lot of passion for the DR that you're aiming for. I know sometimes we're a little more passionate about certain DRs than the other ones that we have made. Um, but I feel like the one you're trying to shift to right now is like the one you might be the most passionate about, or like the second most passionate about. But again, with that impulsivity, I don't know, did you script something ridiculous? Like, are you really thinking about the effects of scripting something, potentially traumatic or violent or insane? Maybe just try reworking that. Let me see if there's any additional messages here. The Magician, yeah. You are over here manifesting whatever you want. You are on it. But there's an internal conflict. Again, something's not in alignment. I don't know, like, if there's something else that you might be lying to yourself about. Um, but I just see like you manifesting everything, and that landed on top of like the World and the Queen of Pentacles, and then I see an inner conflict happening with the self-deception and the fact that you're not in alignment. Oof. So I asked how to get into alignment for this DR, and again, truth. So I don't know what it is that you're lying to yourself about. Um, for a very few select, a select few of you might be listening to somebody who's lying about shifting. So if you're online and you're trying to find advice to shift, and you go to this one person and they're like, you take everything they say as like law, it might be possible that that individual is lying, but it could also be that it's just not your truth. You know what I mean? Like, it's not in alignment with what you do, what works for you. And so the Ace of Swords is truth, and it is also like cutting through all the bullshit. So if there are certain things that like work for you better than others, like start chasing those and stop listening to what other people are saying around you. And also on top of the like impulsivity cards, maybe try to have a little bit more planning, a little more forethought, scripting if you must. But I feel like maybe some of you are so, which is, it's okay, like it's a healthy thing to be involved in your CR. But I feel like maybe you guys are so committed to the things that are happening in your CR right now that when you go to shift to your DR, it's kind of like a last minute thought. You're not really taking the time to like meditate or to like ground to your DR. You're just kind of like, oh well, I have some extra time today, so maybe I'll try. Or like, oh, I'll just throw it in while I'm like right before I go to bed. It's not really like you taking your time with it. So try to have a little more forethought and clarity about your DR and your methods. Okay, let's see if we have any advice. You are good enough. Maybe that might be some of the self-deception. You might be like kind of being really mean to yourself when you're really not the problem here. That's also a good thing to hold on to when you're manifesting, and that's when you got two full moons. A personal issue reaches resolution. So yeah, again with the world card, like I see conclusions and like whatever's happening in your personal slash CR life. So that'll find its end, and I feel like maybe you can make time for shifting after that has finished up. And nothing yet is set in stone. Yeah. So for some of you who are thinking like, I'm never gonna shift or I'm not meant to shift or whatever, I feel like they're just letting you know it's not set in stone. There's no like conclusive answer. Like if you try harder, you totally could shift if you wanted to. It's open ended. Oh, that was a lot. Let's see if we can get one. Come on. One. Let's go. The Messiah in reverse. Exaggerated belief that you are the that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. Yeah, so okay, this is going to be a little humbling for some of you. It's not directed at all of you, but again with that self-deception, maybe the person who's like I did say like maybe some of you are lying about having shifted. Um yeah, I don't know if like you're running around. I feel like there's a lot of people in this community, and I'm not trying to attack anyone, and I'm not saying this is necessarily the case for you. It could be for some of you. But like they form their own opinions about shifting, and then they act like their opinion is the law. You know what I mean? Like, just because you think shifting is, you know, quantum jumping or whatever, like that you're going through actual universes, doesn't mean that that is what it is. Like, no one knows what it is. So I don't know. Maybe, you know, and the reverse too, if you think it's the consciousness theory, like there is no proof that it isn't people going to actual other realities. So stop treating your word as law. I feel like there's some kind of like not only self deception here, but deception to others about like the grandiose nature of yourself. Again, not here to upset anyone. It's just what I'm seeing. Um, so yeah, try to reel that back in. And then the light attribute would be serving humanity with humility. Yeah, so instead of being like you're right, you're wrong, my way or the highway, blah blah blah. Because again, at the end of the day, none of us know what it is. Um, try reframing your approach to um, like how you can help others shift or how you can motivate others to shift or how you can serve the community versus like how can I serve my ego and feeling like the biggest person here, like I know everything, you know. So you have the poet, that's good, expresses soul insights in symbolic language. Yeah, I feel like some of you maybe are scripting already and you're like really good at it. Because when I just think poetry, I think like writing. It's very artful, but I this is also making me think like it might be a little too romantic. Um, and we need you to reel it back in. Again, like if some of you are scripting something terrible, thinking that it's gonna be like a-okay, or thinking that it's gonna, I don't know, I'm not sure, gain you like a pity party in your DR. It's kind of like don't be so romantic about trauma. Um, yeah. And then we got the seeker in reverse, which is inability to commit to a path once found. I feel like a lot of you might be accidentally like trying too many things. Like maybe you try one method one night and then you try another method another night and then you try another method, you know, and it's like you're just trying to like it's almost like Russian roulette. Like let's see which one fucking lands today and let's see if it works or not. And it's like kind of take your time again with that impulsivity. Um, feel a method out, feel if this is actually something that works for you. Give it at least like 3 days and then try another one. Um, instead of just, you know, rushing through and not really feeling whether the method works for you or not. Another thing could be DRs. Like some people just make DR after DR after DR, and it's like, okay, you're not going to connect to any of them because you're like splitting your energy across all of them, and so you're not grounding yourself to any of them. There's a saying that says something like, if you chase two rabbits, both will escape. So just try to focus your energy, whether that's on a method or a DR or who you're listening to. Like obviously when we're doing research we want to listen to more than one person, but I also think that having too many cooks in the kitchen can be detrimental. And then let's see what kind of lessons you either take from this situation or from your DR. Oh, indecision. Yeah, okay, they're calling you out. Make a choice and stick to it. Stop being so impulsive. Yeah, yikes. Okay. And use intuition, so that's important. So if you're like, I don't know which one to go to, I don't know which one to focus on, I don't know, like just use your gut. Balance. I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. The light from the window is kind of making it like hard to read sometimes, so sorry about stuttering, and also sorry if you get any glare. Yeah, so just bringing balance. I think you guys are already pretty good at that, but I will say, right now you're a little CR focused, which again, there's nothing wrong with. Um, but if you're serious about getting to your DR, I think it's time to like find time to commit to your DR so that there's a balance there, right? Don't start neglecting everything in your CR. That's not what I'm saying, because that's not balance either. So just find a way to make time to really ground yourself to your DR. Oh, there was already one. And then perseverance. Let's go. I know I can do whatever I set my mind to. So again, that magician energy. I feel like you're already accomplishing so much in your CR. You're like, it's just banger after banger after banger, you know what I mean? And so they're like, okay, now commit that same energy to your DR. Like, um, some of you feel like you can't do it, especially if you haven't shifted before. Um, that's not true. They're telling you it's totally possible for you. You just need to like have perseverance and make time for it. Um, and again, just try redirecting your focus. So that's it for you, pile number one. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, you can treat my normal pick a cards as shifting pick a cards. So if you have like a DR love question or something, just go to any of my love readings and it would be the same thing. Yeah, if you have any more suggestions, let me know. I would love to take those into account. See you in the next one. Hey, pile two, this is your reading. I'm getting a lot of positive, high energy. Okay, and then we start with the death card. Okay. Oh my gosh, but look, it looks like the sun. I'm getting so much high energy from you, though. Oof. The death card. Wow, that was a great, humbling experience for me, dude. Yeah, there's a lot of energy coming from you. I usually don't take two at once, but I'm trusting my gut on this one. Let's see. Why are you not shifting? A second. Put these upward. Okay. So the death card isn't ending. Again, it's depicted here as a phoenix, so it's kind of like ending and rebirth. Some of you might, I mean, I hate to say it, but some of you might actually be shifting to Harry Potter. It literally reminds me of like that phoenix in Dumbledore's office. But yeah, I'm not sure. You had some kind of death here. I wonder if it's like of your ideologies. So far, it's looking emotional. Um, Let me pull some more cards regarding the death specifically. The Emperor. Yeah, it's feeling like maybe you had a certain like, because the Emperor in reverse to me is like stubbornness and almost authoritativeness. So I wonder if you had this like set, rigid way of like going about shifting and made you like learn some new information, or you had like a realization, or maybe something happened in your CR that kind of like mirrored your DR, and now you're kind of approaching it differently right now. The Judgment in reverse is about avoiding things that are unavoidable. It can also be self-criticism. Some of you might be really mean to yourselves. Um, Let me think. The Five of Swords. That's an argument. Did you get into an argument with someone? It seems like really emotional. Maybe there's like a lot happening in your CR right now, and so you're kind of finding it difficult to focus on your DR. Ooh, okay, that was an interesting message. So for some of you, maybe you got into an argument with someone in your DR, and now you're like finding it difficult to shift back there. That happens a lot after breakups. Ew. And then with the Three of Cups, I hope it wasn't a third party situation. It doesn't look like anyone was cheating. But for some of you, yeah, that's a very specific message that like you got into an argument with someone in your DR. Some of you had something like crazy happen, like a major event that like just made you change how you've been approaching everything. Um, yeah. But anyway, for this third party thing, I don't think it doesn't look like anyone was cheating, but maybe there was like jealousy involved. With some third person. You do have the Knight of Cups and a revert. Yeah, it just seems like oof, emotional drama with a partner, because we have, yeah, you have the Knight of Cups in reverse. So it's like someone who's emotionally immature. Um, for some of you, this could be a CR message. Like there's someone behaving emotionally immature in your CR, and it's causing like such turmoil in your, you know, in your life, in your psyche, and whatever, that like you're finding it difficult to have remaining energy to shift. Yeah, but your issue here is revolving someone, like some kind of relationship where you got into an argument. The person might even like say shit that like might be a little cutthroat. They're like, I'm just being logical. I'm just telling you the truth. And it's like, no, you're being a douche. Okay, the Judgment card in reverse with the Five of Swords. Okay, so it's important to remember that this was something that was supposed to happen. I'm sorry if you didn't script that, or if you script. I know some people try to control their scripts, their DRs, you know, they're like, and we never break up ever and nothing bad happens ever, scripted. And it's like, that's not how that works. I'm sorry. So, yeah, I feel like maybe some of you went in to this DR or the situation thinking like nothing bad would ever happen for whatever reason. Um, and I just felt like it was meant to happen and you just don't want it to. Um, and now you're a little disillusioned, which is okay. That happens. Like things happen in our DR and we need to take a break. The same way with our CR, right? Like when something big happens, we don't just keep. Well, sometimes you kind of have to keep chugging along, but for the most part, you like to take breaks, right? Like if something crazy happens in a relationship, you guys take a break from each other. But again, like whatever. Okay. Point is, it's not. There's nothing wrong with taking a break from your DR. Any additional messages here? What's going on? You have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, so this just feels like someone who isn't giving you what you need. If this doesn't sound like a message for you, or if you're not a shifter, or you, well, everybody here is a shifter, right? But like if you haven't successfully shifted yet, this might not be the message for you. The Devil in reverse. Yeah, this felt like a toxic situation. Kind of like, even if the situation itself wasn't toxic, I feel like, you know, when there's two people that like just they grow apart or they're not getting along anymore, like the relationship's kind of reached the end of its course, but like the two people are still being stubborn about it, and so now they're just kind of chained. I don't want to use chained up, but it is the devil card. She's chained up. Um, they're kind of like chained to this relationship out of stubbornness and not out of love. You know what I mean? Chained out of love. That's funny. You know what I mean? You're just kind of there because, like, for the fuck of it, not because this relationship is doing anything for you anymore. I don't know if you guys are just like not trying to call it quits, or like none of you wants to be the first one to be, you know, kind of want to blame the other one, like, well, you gave up, blah blah blah. But yeah, it just seems unhealthy, and it feels like this person, because it's the pentacles are usually an opportunity, um, or like a solid plan, but your pentacles keep showing up in reverse. So to me, that's like there was never a solid plan in place, especially with the Ace of Pentacles. It's like this person was never going to offer you what it was you wanted. So let's see what kind of messages you get in our oracle cards. For like healthy suggestions. How do we shift? How do we get past this? Okay. Expect powerful change. Yeah, we can tell your first card was literally the Death card. So you kind of have to like be the phoenix from the ashes, grow past this, whatever this was, and understand that, like, I hate saying that it was meant to happen because I'm like one of the least fatalistic people ever, but yeah, I don't know if there was like a lesson you were supposed to learn from this situation, or, you know, especially with the Judgment in reverse being self-critical, like maybe you don't think you deserve better, but you do, and this person just wasn't offering you what it was that you needed or deserved. Conclusions are within reach. Okay, so I feel like you're already towards the end of this ego death. If you haven't listened to Hayley Williams' new song, she has a song called Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, and it's kind of a banger. But anyways, that's just kind of what's playing through my head right now. Yeah, having an ego death, conclusions are within reach. So, okay, I feel like you've somewhat processed most of this, so that's good. Obviously that's not the case for all of you, but conclusions are within reach, and we have expect powerful change, and we have a win-win outcome in the forecast. So yeah, whatever it is that you choose to move forward with, I feel like you'll be successful in it. I don't know if it'll be like just scrapping the DR altogether, which is what a lot of people do. They're like, well, I don't like that we broke up, so we're just gonna try it again. It's almost like some of it literally, that's what I'm like, it's like a lesson for some of you, because there's some people that like they script, we're never gonna break up, and then they break up, and then they make another DR, and they're like, we're never gonna break up in this DR, and then they break up again, and it's like, how many times are you gonna have to live through this before you realize like there's a fucking lesson here? You know what I mean? And I'm the number one hardhead, so I'm not judging you. Okay, visionary. Capacity to envision what is not conceivable to others. That's awesome. Willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. So I feel like this is why I'm like, I'm not saying this couldn't be your pile otherwise, but I feel like the people who pick this pile are actually shifting successfully, because, um, yeah, I feel like your view on shifting is so unique that, like, I don't know, I feel like people are still stuck, fucking drinking water, trying trying anything to shift, and it's like you are such a visionary that you've already like gone past that. Um Willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. So that's interesting. If you guys want to share what it is that like made shifting click for you, that could be um I don't want to say rewarding because it's saying without regard for personal gain, but I'm getting the feeling it would be rewarding for you. You have angel in reverse, which says acting innocent or angelic to mislead others. Falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. So for some of you, that second part is a specific message, like falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. Um, but I'm gonna focus more on the first part since we're not really talking about you being a spiritualist or anything. Um, yeah, so I feel like whatever the situation was that didn't work out, you're not innocent in it either. And I'm not here to like shit on anybody, but just kind of do some self reflection on like where you might have played a part in this, where you might have acted immaturely, and how you can avoid this in the future. Then we have companion in reverse, betrayal or misusing confidence, loss of personal identity. So again, with that ego death and also the betrayal from this other person. I really hope it wasn't a Three of Cups situation, but it just feels like, yeah, you probably don't trust this person anymore. So if some of you are still sticking with this person or you're thinking of rewriting a DR, like trust, it's not worth it. And that might be why you're not shifting. Like you might be protected in terms of like some of you are actively choosing not to shift and some of you are being stopped from doing it. It's like until you learn this lesson or until you've had this ego death, then you can shift again. But right now, you're just gonna keep repeating the same cycles. And it's like it's time to self-esteem. Are you kidding me? We're just talking about self-judgment. Yeah, I feel like you guys aren't respecting yourselves. You're being mean to yourselves. And it's okay to like again look at where you might have messed up, but it's also important to not be don't kick yourself about it, don't like do it in search of, resolution or like you should self-reflect with the goal being growth instead of just looking on the past and being like, oh my god, I'm a fucking terrible person. Like that's not the point you should be having. You should be self-reflecting for growth, not just like reflecting on the past so you can shit on yourself. That's not helping anybody. Friendships, so yeah, try to focus on friendships. If you guys are like trying to throw away your whole DR just because of this one person, like are you really willing to throw away like the friendships you had with other people? Or if you are ultimately choosing to start a new DR, like try focusing on friendships instead of focusing on romantic relationships. And then loneliness, I know that I am never alone. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. There's like a lot of feelings of isolation here. Some of you might have even shared a lot of the same friends with this person in your DR, and so now you're kind of feeling isolated. Like maybe they chose the other person's side, or maybe you don't want to go back there because you're scared to lose all your friends. But know that you're never alone, so that's awesome. Like either, I mean, I hate to like talk about my own spiritual beliefs, but like we're truly never alone. It's almost uncomfortable. But that aside, I feel like in your DR itself, I feel like you still have friends that are going to be ride or die for you, even if you did lose some of them to the end of this relationship. And lastly, I feel like some of you need to address the fact that you don't know how to be alone romantically. Like there's some people that they call them serial monogamous, and it's like you just jump from relationship to relationship to relationship, and it's like you don't know how to be alone. So some of you are kind of being told to self-reflect on that, um, and to focus more on friendships than like getting back into another relationship. And also, like, is your constant need to have someone by yourself or by your side an issue of your self-esteem? You know what I mean? Like, your self-esteem is causing you, your low self-esteem is causing you to always need to have someone by your side, and it's like, if you can fix that, then you won't really need anyone there and you won't feel lonely. Yeah, so I hope that was helpful. If you haven't already had your full-on ego death, and you're like, I already knew this, how, let me know if you have any suggestions in the comments, because it's really hard to come up with shifting content. Again, if you wanted to do like a love reading for your DR specifically, you can treat any of my normal love readings as DR readings. It's really the same at the end of the day, in terms of energy. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something, and see you in the next one. Hello, pile number 3 with the Buffy the Vampire Slayer tarot. This is your reading. 1. Come on. This one's a little harder to shuffle, I forget. The Tower in reverse. It was so funny in the last pile, I was like, I'm getting such good energy from this pile, and like the first card I pull is the Death card, and I'm like, what? And so I was like, I don't want to say something in case you get something crazy, and you got the Tower in reverse. It is in reverse, so let's see what the rest of them are saying before I make any definitive statements again. So we have the 10 of Swords in reverse, the Tower in reverse. I love all this blocked energy. We have the Chariot, curious. The Page of Cups in reverse. The Hermit. Okay, somebody's avoiding their problems. Come on. And then we have Justice in reverse. Alrighty. So the 10 of Swords in reverse is about an ending you didn't want to happen. So you're very upset about this ending. It might be emotional. I feel like get a little more info. Okay. The King of Pentacles. I wonder if this is similar to the last pile. What was this ending about? Come on. Sorry, sometimes they come out in twos and I don't like it. King of Pentacles seems like a pretty stable person. I'm not sure. Hello? Okay. Oh, right now I'm reading the Tower in reverse, and the Tower in reverse is either an internal like reconstruction of everything you know, or it can be you avoiding, or I should say averting, a disaster. And I do see the Hermit card. It's not in the reverse, so I don't think this is necessarily you avoiding your problems. It's more like you... Oh my god, should I just take them in two? This is ridiculous. Okay, let me knock on this deck, see if that cleanses it a bit. I did make a video on cleansing the items if you're interested. They keep coming out in twos, so we're just gonna take it. Alrighty. So the Tower in reverse, yeah, so it's like you're having a lot of internal restructuring of like everything you've known, basically. I don't know if you've fully reached that ending, just because The Hermit is very much about like internal reflection. When it's in reverse, it's like isolation and getting away from people. But like since it's upright, it's more like you're deliberately isolating yourself to kind of, even if that's not like you getting away from your family members or you getting away from, you know, your loved ones, whatever. It might be just like you turning off TikTok. You know what I mean? It's like you're kind of like not listening to all the nonsense that's going around because it seems a little distracting, and you're just kind of like, what do I feel is actually working for me? So that's a good sign. But the ending I see, okay, we have the Hanged Man, which is again a restructuring of your view. The Hangman is depicted in reverse, and it's kind of like your world is turned upside down. You can think about it that way. Like it's a shift in perspective. Um, so something happened, something ended. Yeah. Okay. So it seems like you were stable at first, and then like something happened to turn your world around, and now you're just kind of like, I don't know what the truth is anymore. I don't know what's real anymore. I don't know how to align myself. And so right now it seems like you're going internally and trying to find that alignment with the Tower in reverse. But the Chariot kind of concerns me. I feel like the Chariot is about movement forward, and it's like, how are you going to move forward if you haven't figured out what the hell is going on right now? So that's probably why you're not shifting. I feel like you're attempting to shift, but you haven't resolved whatever has caused this, you know, like turmoil in your life. Mm, the Page of Chalices. I also feel like you're out of touch with your emotions. Like you're kind of ignoring them, suppressing them. You're like, I don't really want to think about it right now. And I don't know if it's because you think, you know, if you look into it, you're gonna like cry or you're gonna have this big reaction. If that's what you're scared of, I don't see it being like, there's some people that are avoiding their emotions and you're like, shit, you have a lot of baggage, like I get it. But here it's like I don't see I don't see you having that much like emotional baggage. So I don't understand like why you would be avoiding it. Like I don't think it's as bad as you think it is. And then Justice in reverse. Um be a lack of balance with the Chariot. I'm trying to think. Like how can you move forward when you're not like aligned? Let's see if we can get some clarification on the Justice card. Oop. Did he? The fucking deck said, here, damn. All right, the Knight of Sights. The Knight of Sights. So that's the Knight of Swords in reverse. It's impulsivity. So yeah, I feel like a lot of you guys are just like rushing this process. Like whatever it is that you need to work through needs to be worked through first before you can move on. And I feel like you guys are trying to shift before you've worked through this mess. And then you're upset that you're not shifting. And it's like, well, you can't shift. You need to get in alignment here. Especially with the Ace of Swords in reverse, that's like a lack of alignment. So I was talking about this in the first pile where there's certain people that, you know, they have great CRs and then they're trying to shift to traumatic DRs. And then the reverse is true where like some people have, you know, pretty terrible CRs and they're trying to shift to DRs where everything's perfect. And it's like, if you're not feeling that, if you're not resonating with that, it's going to be harder for you to connect to that DR. And so it's like whatever it is that's going on in your CR that you need to work through um, is what's blocking you from being in alignment with your DR. So once you can work through that, it should be fine. Um, let's see what advice you're being given. Thief in reverse. Oh, the priest upright. Oh, here we go. And the monk nun It didn't. Oh, it's the monk slash the nun. I was like, what the hell is a monk nun? Embarrassing. Okay, the thief in reverse. Stealing money, creative ideas, affection, or other powers you think you lack. So, for some of you, I'm getting that the ending is regarding a thief or like someone who betrayed you or someone who stole something from you. Um, and they just kind of want you to know that like this person, maybe they, maybe it's like a jealousy thing, but it's also like they didn't see those attributes in themselves and they saw them in you and they kind of just wanted to like be like you. Um, yeah, and again, there's this idea of like maybe you could be the jealous one or you're seeing all these people shifting and you're like getting upset. But again, it's good to go into that hermit mode and just kind of like shut everyone else up, shut them off, and kind of focus on yourself and your situation and what resonates with you and stop trying to. I mean, we do have the thief here, but I don't necessarily think you're stealing anything. It's just kind of like somebody says this method works or do this and this and then you'll shift, and I feel like maybe you look up to these other people so much that you think that their methods are going to work for you, and just because their methods do work for them and for other people doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work for you. So kind of just like shutting other people out, and really focusing in on what aligns with you. We have the priest facilitates spiritual commitments. I'm sorry, and serves as a channel of spiritual energy. So for some of you, you might be very spiritual outside of shifting. I know shifting can be secular. I'm not here to preach to anybody. But for those of you that are spiritual, like pull your own tarot cards, ask your guides, like, what can I do to get me through this tower moment? Or what can I do to help me shift? Or like, start listening to meditations with like certain frequencies. Um, Not just listening to them, but like actually meditating, it might be helpful for you um, to get in touch with your own spirituality, either to get through this moment or to aid you and to guide you to the shift. Then we have a monk slash nun or monk nun. And it says selfless devotion and single minded dedication to spirit. That's interesting. Okay, so yeah, again, I'm getting this pile is very spiritual, and whether like again, it doesn't have to be like Jesus Christ and God specifically, but it's like whatever it is that you believe in, even if it's like the universe or your guides, your higher self, your ancestors. I feel like you guys are connecting to something else outside of shifting, and for some of you, you're being given a message to like again to use that to get you through this tower moment, but um some of you are being told maybe to ask this specific spirit for aid in shifting. Which I don't know, it's so funny. I feel like people try to separate the two all the time. And that's why we get so many, like when an atheist or someone who's a cynic laughs at shifters, I'm like, okay, well, you're a cynic. But like when you have people that are like, I'm a manifestation girly, but shifters are stupid, it's just like, wait, like, how are you? Like they're low key all fucking connected. And so I feel like if you are currently separating them, you're being encouraged to merge them. Okay. Again, not trying to tell you what to do in your practice. That's just the message I received. Confidence is your key to success. Yeah, so if you guys are having self-doubt issues, like resolve that expeditiously. Bring love into the situation. Again, some of you guys are like out of touch with your emotions. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on there. Another thing about bringing love into the situation is like maybe some of you are trying to ground to your DR physically. You're like, what does the table feel like? What does the kitchen smell like? You know, what do my, friends look like? And instead you should be like trying to bring the emotional part in. Like, how does this person make me feel? How do my parents in my DR, like, what's my relationship to them like? Try to start like feeling out the emotions of the situation rather than like the objective details. Um, Adjustments are required, yeah. And you guys, because this is a general reading, you might have to like, pull your own tarot cards or ask your own spirits, but there's like certain tweaks. And again, like if you're focusing on the wrong thing, try redirecting your focus. And then your final pieces of advice. Do 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 do. Alrighty, growth. Surrender. Oh my god. Okay, this is a spiritual pile for sure. Surrender. I release my need to control. That's a small message for, not a small message. A message for us, a few of you. Might be that like you're over scripting. There's nothing wrong with scripting, but some of you try to like, that was happening with the last pile where it's like, I'm gonna be with so and so, and so is gonna fall in love with me immediately, and we're never ever gonna break up. And it's like, that's not how it works. So just, I mean, if you want to script so and so is my love interest, like pop off. I'm not here to stop you, but I feel like some of you guys are hyper focusing on all these details, and that might make it harder for you to shift. And also, like trying to control when you shift. I've totally had like situations where I'm like trying day after day after day, and then like the one day where I stop trying, that's when I shift. So I don't know like why it is that way, but some of you might just need to surrender. And when I think of the concept of surrender, I do think of like surrendering to, again, whatever it is you believe in, spirit, the universe, your guides, and asking them for help and just letting them kind of take over, which might make you a bit uncomfortable right now, considering the other, like maybe you're scared to ask for help, you're scared to open up about your emotions, but like it's not like your gods don't know you're trying to shift, you know what I mean? So you might as well just ask them for help. The worst they can do is say no. They're not going to punish you. And if they do say no, like ask them why, or ask them if there's something you can be doing to like propel yourself forward without them, or to receive their help in the future. Imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspects of my mind. Yeah. So again, like I feel like some of you are being a bit objective right now. Like, what color is the wood? Like that's something that anybody can feel. But like, what is something specific to your DR self that like nobody else can feel? Like your relationship to your best friend in your DR is not going to be the same as somebody else's relationship to your best friend in your DR. You know what I mean? Right now, I feel like you're being a little objective, and use your imagination and use your emotions. Growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. Yeah. So, I get the feeling that, like, since this is already a spiritual pile and I'm already talking to spiritual individuals, um, I'm sure you believe in learning lessons. That could technically be objective. It doesn't have to be spiritual, but um, I feel like some of you are going to learn life lessons in your DR, and it's like for your growth. And so just kind of like being open to that. And also, this, like, you not shifting is also a lesson in and of itself on how to grow. And, for some of you, it's like how to grow emotionally, how to ask for help, how to restructure your way of thinking, how to surrender. It's just a point in time for you to grow more as an individual. Yeah, so I hope you found that helpful, pile number 3. If so, please let me know. And give me suggestions, girly, because I mean, girly indiscriminately, but I literally don't know. I'm trying to like make more shifting content, but I don't know what to talk about. Like, I don't want to do story times because I'm like, that's freaking personal. You know what I mean? Like, are you sitting here posting videos online talking about the relationship you have with your boyfriend? No, because that's uncomfortable. So why would you do that about your DR? You wouldn't. So I don't know. To me, it's highly uncomfortable, and I'm trying to find other ways to like make shifting content that would be interesting, but I don't know what the community finds interesting other than story times, and I'm not gonna give you that because some of those are really traumatic too. Yeah, so if you have any suggestions, let me know. Thank you. Hello, pile number 4. This is your reading. Why aren't you shifting? Okay, it's starting off strong. Oh, why did this other card come through? Here we go. So, kind of picking up a vibe already with the Devil card. You have the 6 of Cups in reverse. So I get the feeling that some of you have already shifted, or some of you have mini shifted, and you can't shift again. You're struggling to shift completely, or you're struggling to shift again. These came out in 2s, so I'm gonna put them away. So the Judgment card is a good card to me. It kind of means like it's gonna happen eventually, but there's some things you have to work through first. Because the Judgment card to me is the card of like things that are meant to happen whether you like them or not. All right. Yeah, so the 6 of Cups in reverse is an unhealthy relationship to the past. I feel like you're looking back on something, but instead of reminiscing, you're kind of like looking back negatively at it. So I don't know if some of you like you're like I mini shifted, but I can't shift, or if you're like I shifted before, like why can't I do it again? I feel like you're kind of looking at the past, but instead of being positive about it, you're focusing on the negative. You do have the World in reverse, which is like some unfinished business, something's incomplete. The Wheel of Fortune tells me it's in reverse, so it kind of tells me you're not going to shift right now. And the Devil is the Devil is telling me that this is kind of like an addiction right now. Like instead of it being a positive situation where you're like healthily relating to your DR, you're aligning yourself, you're doing good in your CR, your mental health is okay. I feel like this has become kind of like a desperate situation. Like you don't understand why you're not shifting and it's really frustrating you. It's becoming a point of contention. It's something you're like trying every day and it's not working and you don't understand. You're kind of like banging your head against a wall. Yeah, it's like become something negative instead of something joyful or something to do for fun. Some of you might even be like trying to escape something negative in your CR. And so you're like really desperately trying to get to your DR, and like that energy is not going to get you there. I know there's people out there that are like, well, I shifted when I was desperate, and I shifted when I was feeling like shit, and I was blah, 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 blah. We're not talking in general terms right now. We're not talking about like, is it possible for you to shift in a negative state of mind, right? We're talking about why you specifically are not shifting right now, and that is why you're not shifting. But this pile specifically, it's because this like negative energy is not working for you. And I've had this happen to me before too, where I'm like trying every day, and it's like it's almost like when I think of shifting, it's like only negative feelings come up, and it's like if it's becoming like that, it's becoming this thing that makes you feel bad about yourself. Like it's time to take a break. Yeah, I feel like you're just again like ramming your head against the wall. You're like trying over and over and over to make it work, and it's not gonna work because the Wheel of Fortune is in reverse. We have the Eight of Swords, which is about feeling trapped mentally. Um, again, like some of you actually feel trapped in your CR, like you can't get out of it. Um, you're also in like this rut. I don't know if you're like trying the same methods over and over, or if you're doing the opposite where you're like trying a different method every day. Like there's something. It's like just the feeling of like doing this. What's that? Like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And we have the Five of Swords, which is an argument. I don't know if you're like there's something negative happening in your CR. Maybe you're like arguing with people and you're trying to get out. You have the Seven of Wands, which is in reverse, which is like you feel attacked right now. Like something nasty is happening in your CR. Yeah. You're experiencing burnout from trying to shift over and over and over again. You're experiencing burnout from having to deal with all these dumb bitches in your CR. You feel like you're attacked. You feel like everyone's against you. You're getting into arguments. It's just not a fun time. And then I feel like you try to shift to escape it, and then like nothing happens, and you're almost like taking your anger out. It's like weird. It's like toxic. Like you're taking your anger out on shifting, and maybe even saying like shifting isn't fucking real because why am I still stuck in this shithole? Or you know like um I don't know. It's just like taking your anger out on yourself, even. Like, why can't I fucking shift? Why am I still here? Why is my life all fucked up? Just like a lot of negativity. Okay. So what kind of archetypes you're embodying? What kind of, maybe your shadow self is gonna show its butt. Storyteller, positive. The ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Yeah, so for some of you, maybe you're being encouraged to like slow down and script. Storyteller, express life through stories. Something else I was getting, but it like left my mind. Ability to. Sorry, these things keep coming out in twos, so I'm like throwing them back in. Ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Caillou. Okay. Yeah, so some of you might be encouraged to not only script in regards to your DR, but just like writing in general. Some of you might be artists. Storytelling could also be assigned to like talk to somebody about like the situation that you're going through and tell them like the story of what happened. It might be comforting for you. We have engineer, ability to give creative energy a practical expression. Yeah, and talents for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. So I feel like you're very creative, and I feel like the energy that you could be using in your CR, you're kind of wandering on your DR. You're not actually shifting there. Could also be kind of a pick me up of like learn to find resolutions to your current dilemmas. And then we got Midas or Miser in reverse, which is hoarding money and emotions, obsessive fear of losing your wealth. Some of you might be having money issues. I don't know what's going on there. Hoarding your emotions is interesting though. I mean, again, like talk to somebody about whatever it is that you're going through. Obsessive fear of losing your wealth. want to pull another archetype card for you guys. I've been doing 3, but I feel like there's something else here. Okay, priest facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. Some of you are being encouraged to meditate. Like, even if it doesn't get you to shift, I feel like there's too much emotional nonsense happening right now that you need to get sorted out. And I feel like meditation and talking to people would really help that. Prosperity lies ahead. Yeah, so again with the judgment card, I feel like shifting's going to happen for you anyway. Just right now, they kind of need you to fix this. Hold your vision. Yeah, a lot of you are just like giving up. Or you're thinking that it's not real. Okay. Like, we need you to hold it. We need you to stay here. And I know you feel burnt out and frustrated and like you want to give up because you have the 9 of Wands. But it's like, just hold out a little longer. Your commitment is being tested, literally. Okay, we have some final lessons for you. Fear. I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. Yeah, and again, some of you might have, like it said, fear of losing your money. I don't know where you're getting like this. Even like prosperity lies ahead. I took that as like, oh, you're gonna shift eventually, but I feel like maybe some of you are really having like money issues right now or like stability issues. Empathy, I am open to seeing both sides of the situation. Death, I am learning that endings are merely beginnings. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. Yeah, so you are being encouraged to change. It's like growth, and I just feel like growth is not comfortable, and for you it's being like particularly irritating, but it just seems like something that you kind of have to go through right now. And with the death situation, I feel like this situation's almost over. That doesn't make it painless. And it says endings are merely beginnings. So yeah, I feel like once you resolve whatever this is, like you'll just move on to. I don't want to say you're gonna shift immediately after you resolve this, but I feel like then you can redirect your focus. But right now you kind of need to focus on your CR and fixing whatever it is that's causing all this nonsense. This one's interesting. I'm open to seeing both sides of the situation. What is that about? Page of Oysters. See, again, like a pentacle in reverse is just making me think like lack of money or lack of opportunity, or maybe you were denied an opportunity and you're kind of being asked to be open about that. I know that's hard. I know you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I wouldn't want to be empathetic if I was turned down for something, you know, but I don't know. So like for example, if you're having a living situation where someone took you in and the expectation was that you would only be there for 3 months, and now it's been 5 months and there's no end in sight for it, and the person's becoming like kind of agitated that you're living there. You're thinking, well, how can they kick me out? But it's kind of like important to understand that you did say it was only going to be 3 months. You know what I mean? Like as an example, obviously I'm not saying that's specifically what's happening to you, it's a general reading, but like the situation you're going through is really hard right now, but there's probably like 2 sides to the story, assuming you're not going through something really horrible, right? Like if you were essayed, there's not really 2 sides to the story there. But it doesn't look that way. It just looks like a rough patch that you kind of have to get through right now. And it's gonna be uncomfortable. So I'm sorry, pile number 4. I hope you resolve that soon so you can focus on shifting. Let me know if you have any ideas for shifting content other than story times, because I would love to make more. If you have any questions, let me know. Let me know if this resonated. Um, yeah, and I'll see you in the next one.